Merry Christmas. I hope everybody's doing well today. Not hungover, I hope. So, I'm going to tell you a quick story that happened to me and my son. My son got addicted to Oxycontin. It's been over 10 years ago. And one of the hardest things for uh, any of us, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, is to deal with someone that's in the throes of addiction. It's it's a horrible, painful experience. So one day, I found out that Grant that he was addicted to uh, OxyContin, and it had started out just with some guy asking him at work, "Hey, do you wanna try one of these, OxyContins?" And he was like, "Sure, why not?" And then, very quickly, and his words, it grabbed me by the balls, and, um, he was in full blown addiction. And those things are like $85 a pop on the street. And so, he was doing things that he shouldn't be doing to get money to buy this stuff. Anyway, the story that I'm going to tell you is one of amaze. It still amazes me when I think about it. And I at this time I was in my alcohol addiction, so I'm having a hard time, getting through to this kid who's got an oxy addiction when I'm, drunk all the time. So one day he calls me and he's so upset because he's been laying in bed all day, suicidal, because he can't quit taking these pills. And he's embarrassed, he's humiliated, he hates himself, he loathes himself, he's, sad that he's making his family sad. And he calls me to tell me that I need to come over there because he's been laying in bed all day trying not to kill himself. So I call his dad and have his dad and his new wife come up and meet me at his house. And it's quickly apparent that he needs some professional help, that we're not going to be able to do this. We're not going to be able to help him. And so we drive him to the hospital, and to the emergency room, and tell them what's going on. And it's like 8 p.m. at night on a Saturday night, and they're just super busy. So they throw me and my son in this small room, way away from everybody else. We're by ourselves down this long hallway in this tiny room, freezing cold. Neither one of us had on, anything that was going to keep us warm. There was one love seat, one chair, one table in this room, period. And I've got a kid withdrawing from Oxy sitting here, and I'm needing a drink. And, so we sit there, and we sit there for hours. And I've got this kid begging me to take him home, pleading with me, "Mom, come on, let's just go. Let's just go. I promise I won't do it anymore. Come on, Mom, I really need to go home. I feel sick. This is horrible. Let's go home. You can have a drink. I promise I won't do it anymore." This went on for hours. So at one point, he has to go to the bathroom. And I'm sitting there telling myself, just take him home. just take him home. You've got to leave here. You can't stay in this freezing cold room anymore. And you can have a drink. And, let's go home. We've been here 3 hours sitting in this room and nobody's coming to even talk to us. I'm saying all this to myself in my head. And right then, this woman walks in the room. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, okay, who are you? And she comes over and she sits down on the love seat right next to me. And she takes my hand and says, I don't even work on this floor, but I overheard somebody saying that there was a mom in this exam room with, her son that's withdrawing from Oxy. And I just felt like I really needed to come in here and encourage you. And she goes, I just want to tell you, be strong, be strong. He needs to be here. Be strong. Don't go home yet. You can do this. Somebody will be with you shortly. Somebody will come, but I just wanted to give you some encouragement. And then she got up and she walked out the door. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. So Grant comes walking into the room again and sits down, and he's just like, Mom, we've got to go home. And I kid you not, it was a constant, let's go home. Let's go home. I promise I won't do this anymore. I promise I won't do this anymore. Let's go home. And I'm just like, I need a drink, and he'll be okay. He'll quit, But I didn't. I kept sitting there, and I just kept saying, no, you can't go home. No, this kid needs help. This kid is going to kill himself if you let him go home. So about 1 a.m., Grant decides that he's going to go to the bathroom again. So I'm at my wit's end. I'm tired. I'm freezing cold. I'm hungry. I want a drink. It was horrible. It was really horrible, I'm telling you. And somebody else comes in the room. This other woman. Had never seen her before. She comes in. She sits down right next to me on the love seat, and she takes my hands and she looks me right in the eye and she says, do you know how many mothers we see come in with their addicted children in the exact same place where you're sitting right now? And they end up leaving with their addicted child because they're not strong enough to do what needs to be done. You need to stay here with your child and not let him go home. Be strong. God is with you. God is with you. You're saving your son. This is what it means to have tough love. And then she left. And Grant comes back in the room. And he starts it again. But this time I know what I have to do. And that is to just be the strong one here and stay for your son and stay to save him. At 3 a.m., finally, we were in there from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. And finally, a doctor comes in and talks to us. And I say, we need to put this kid in the psych ward. Do you know how tough it is to tell somebody to put your kid in a psych ward because they're suicidal? So he said, yep, that's exactly what we're going to do. Grant agreed. I agreed. I walked down the hall following my son, and I watched the door shut behind him. And then I drove home. Luckily, I'm a Christian, and not always perfect, obviously. But I prayed, and I prayed really hard. And my mom prayed really hard. And Grant was in there for a week. They only kept him for a week. But when he came out, he said to me, I'm done. I'm done with it. He goes, I saw in there, in this psych ward, what it's like for people who don't stop. And they've been in there 18 different times now because they can't stop. And he goes, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. And those are the exact same words that I said to myself when I was drinking. I don't want to be this person. I don't want to be this person anymore. This is the time right now. If you're drugging, if you're drinking, if you're gambling all your money away, if you've got a sex addiction and you just can't stop, you're having multiple affairs with people and, or you have a food addiction. This is the time today. There's no other time. Tomorrow is never going to get here. So I'm encouraging you. You can do it. You can do it. There's all kinds of resources out there to help you. And I'm telling you, you can do it. I have another story, but that's for another time. Today is Christmas Day. Please remember what Christmas is really, truly all about. Jesus Christ was born to die on the cross for our sins. And his resurrection is the only reason why we remember his birth. For God so loved the Son that he gave his only. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever shall believe in him shall be saved. Have a good one. Bye.